a part of the youngest, largest, tallest, and most populated mountain range in Europe, where snowy peaks stretch to the horizon. Sharp cliffs rise like blades etched against the deep blue sky, marked with the traces of time. The Swiss Alps. 470 miles of glaciers embrace every ravine, breathing life into the lush green meadows. Yet behind the serene beauty of this magnificent landscape lies the harsh reality of survival in every movement. Welcome to the Swiss Alps, secrets of the apex hunters. Winter blankets the Swiss Alps. The towering peaks surrounding the Matterhorn become fortresses of ice. On the steep cliffs, Alpine ibex defy gravity, climbing higher, staying out of reach of predators, and searching for the scarce patches of grass beneath the snow. Below, in the snow-covered valleys, agile chamois glide down the slopes. The deep snow slows their steps, yet they continue to seek lower grounds where food still lingers. However, their every move is being watched. In the darkness, the Eurasian lynx silently stalks. Its paws sink deep into the snow, quiet yet full of intent. Above, the broad wings of the golden eagle slice through the sky, hunting for the weak and vulnerable. Like an arrow from the heavens, the eagle dives at breathtaking speed. Winter here is unforgiving. Only the strongest can truly reign over this land. Covering more than 60% of Switzerland's 15,940 square miles. The Swiss Alps are a national symbol, where towering mountains and valleys create a breathtaking natural landscape. Glaciers, green forests, and waterfalls all contribute to a world where life thrives despite the harshness of nature. Although Switzerland only occupies 14% of the entire 74,422 square miles of the Alps, it proudly hosts 48 of the 82 peaks that exceed 13,000 feet. The remaining peaks also lie within just 12 miles of this nation's borders. A true wonder, where time seems to stand still amid the ice and rocks. The name Alps originates from the ancient Latin word albus, meaning white. A simple yet evocative name, bringing to mind the snow-capped peaks that resemble icy crowns touching the sky. The story of the Alps goes far beyond just the name. Around 65 million years ago, two massive tectonic plates, Europe and Africa, began a relentless collision. This immense force pushed the sediments of the ancient Tethys Ocean upwards, transforming them into towering mountain ranges. The Alps gradually emerged, like a masterpiece being reshaped through the ages of geological time. With an average elevation of over 6,500 feet, the Swiss Alps stretch from southwest to northeast, forming a majestic backbone of Switzerland. This is where the highest peaks reach towards the sky, with 48 out of 82 summits exceeding 13,000 feet. Dufourspitze, standing at 15,203 feet, rises like a giant, the tallest peak in this mountainous realm. The Aletsch Glacier, stretching 14 miles long and covering 46 square miles, is not just a natural wonder, but also a lifeline, feeding major rivers like the Rhone and Rhine. Zermatt and Lauterbrunnen valleys have been carved deep by glaciers over millions of years. Lauterbrunnen, with its over 70 waterfalls cascading down cliffs, stands as a testament to the power of time and ice. Zermatt, lying at the foot of the Matterhorn, is where one of the world's most iconic mountains rises like a majestic pyramid. The Swiss Alps, with their awe-inspiring beauty, are one of the most biodiverse regions in Europe. They are home to tens of thousands of plant and animal species, many of which cannot be found anywhere else on Earth. For every 328 feet of elevation gained, the temperature drops by an average of 0.56 degrees Celsius, creating three distinct climate zones: the subalpine zone, alpine zone, and glacial zone. Each zone provides unique habitats, from lush pine forests to alpine meadows and the icy expanse of glaciers. Every day is a struggle for survival, as these creatures strive to endure the cold, holding on to the promise of warmer, sunnier days. Summer in the Swiss Alps is a moment when life awakens. After a long winter, the melting snow from the high peaks begins to trickle through the valleys, creating crystal-clear streams. Temperatures ranging from 50 degrees Fahrenheit to 68 degrees Fahrenheit in the lower regions bring warmth and energy to the entire ecosystem. Fields of wildflowers bloom across the vast meadows, creating a vibrant tapestry of colors. The melting glaciers feed the major rivers, transforming the valleys into rich habitats for wildlife. At elevations between 6,560 and 9,840 feet, summer in the Alpine zone of the Swiss Alps reveals a scene full of vitality. As temperatures rise, ranging from 37 degrees Fahrenheit to 68 degrees Fahrenheit, the snow on the mountain peaks begins to melt. High above, peaks like the Matterhorn and Dufourspitze stand out with their timeless beauty, now no longer icy but reflecting the brilliant sunshine of summer. Icy waters flow rapidly, cascading into the valleys, creating majestic waterfalls. It is the call of life. The lush green meadows and flower-covered grasslands, sustained by the meltwater from glaciers like Pers and Morteratsch, paint a picturesque scene. This refreshing water source not only creates a serene beauty, but also provides abundant nourishment for the entire ecosystem. These grasslands are a vital food source for the Alpine ibex, the iconic mountain goat of the Swiss Alps, also known as the Steinbock. In summer, they move up the steep cliffs to find fresh grasses, herbs, and shrubs. Their climbing ability is remarkable, the result of millions of years of evolution. With powerful hooves and well-developed muscles, the ibex can easily grip onto surfaces just a few inches wide, reaching areas inaccessible to other animals. These nearly vertical cliffs become safe havens, protecting them from predators like the golden eagle and Eurasian lynx. This trait gives these mountain goats a significant advantage in accessing areas with fresh grass and shrubs, minimizing competition for food with other species. At the end of summer, the males often leave the herd to engage in battles for dominance. The intense head-to-head clashes of young males echo through the mountains, creating a spectacular scene. These battles are not only a way to establish their rank within the herd, but also a preparation for the upcoming breeding season. Summer in the high mountains brings a busy yet favorable time for the chamois. The alpine meadows are lush and vibrant, providing a rich source of food. Chamois make the most of this time, moving across steep rock faces to feed in areas that few other animals can reach. Their exceptional climbing skills, thanks to their strong legs and perfectly adapted hooves, allow them to grip securely on slippery rock surfaces. Chamois live in small herds, usually consisting of 15 to 30 individuals. The herd is well organized, led by strong males who guard the territory and control the areas with the most nutritious food sources. By the end of summer, competition among the males increases as they begin asserting their strength in preparation for the breeding season in autumn. Females and young often move to safer areas, away from zones where golden eagles or Eurasian lynxes might be hunting. High alertness is their survival strategy, especially when crossing open areas. A 2023 study by the University of Zurich found that chamois can reach speeds of up to 31 miles per hour on uneven terrain. This is a significant advantage, helping them easily escape from potential predators. The mountain hare, also known by many other names such as blue hare, tundra hare, alpine hare, and snow hare, symbolizes remarkable adaptation to the harsh environment of the Alpine zone in the Swiss Alps. As summer arrives, the mountain hare gradually sheds its white winter coat, replacing it with a gray-brown color. They blend into the rocky slopes and lush green meadows, almost disappearing into the wild landscape. During this time, grasses, wildflowers, and other nutritious plants become their main diet, helping them restore energy after the tough winter. However, the threat remains ever present. Predators like the golden eagle and Eurasian lynx are always waiting for an opportunity. The hare's coat change is not just for camouflage, but also a way to cope with the intense summer sun. Their thick fur and ability to blend into the landscape help them survive in this challenging environment. At lower elevations, ranging from 5,000 to 6,500 feet, the subalpine zone of the Swiss Alps serves as a bridge between the dense forests and the lush alpine meadows. Summer temperatures here range from 41 degrees Fahrenheit to 68 degrees Fahrenheit, allowing life to flourish once more, with plants and vegetation budding, creating a fresh natural landscape. Meltwater from the snow flows down the slopes, weaving through the forests of pine, spruce, and fir. In the valleys, green meadows stretch out like a soft carpet. crocus and bellflowers bloom, their purple and white colors intermingling, adding a poetic touch to the scenery. The thick forests of pine and spruce provide both food and shelter, helping red deer avoid predators lurking in the shadows of the deep woods. In the gentle sunlight, the young fawns follow their mothers, learning how to find fresh grass. Throughout the summer, herds of red deer spend most of their time roaming the meadows, seeking out the coolest and freshest grazing spots. An adult deer needs to consume between 15 to 30 pounds of food each day to maintain its health. Weighing between 330 to 600 pounds, the red deer dominates the mountain landscape. The males, with their majestic antlers, grow even stronger during this season. Their antlers are not just symbols of power, but also crucial tools for the battles to come during the mating season. Meanwhile, the roe deer, smaller than the red deer, are more active than ever. The males engage in intense competitions, known as rutting, to win the right to mate. They chase and fight each other, rubbing their antlers against trees and making loud calls to mark their territory and attract females. These battles are not just demonstrations of strength, but also a way to establish dominance within the population. The rich summer vegetation, with its fresh grasses, leaves, and nutritious buds, helps the roe deer build up the energy they need. The abundance of plant life in the subalpine zone is vital for their health and the growth of their population. They typically feed in the early morning and late evening to avoid the heat of the day, while during the day, they hide in dense forests to rest and protect themselves from lurking predators. The red fox is a skilled, opportunistic hunter that thrives when nature becomes vibrant and bountiful. Although they tend to live solitary lives, summer sees the young foxes grow and begin learning survival skills from their mother. They venture out of the den, exploring their surroundings and learning how to hunt. The mother fox plays a guiding role, teaching her kits how to hunt, find food, and defend themselves against threats. As omnivores, red foxes are highly adaptable in their diet. During the summer, they hunt mice, fledgling birds, lizards, and insects, using their ability to leap up to 3 feet to efficiently catch small rodents hidden underground. Besides hunting, they also eat berries and fruits from the forest, ensuring they maintain energy levels and prepare for the challenging times ahead. Meanwhile, the European badger becomes more active during the night. At dusk, the badger uses its keen sense of smell to detect a variety of food sources, such as earthworms, insects, roots, and occasionally small animals. Earthworms make up the majority of their diet, with around 60% of their food intake coming from this source. A badger can consume between 1.5 to 2 pounds of earthworms each night, which is equivalent to about 200 worms. Badgers usually forage in moist soil areas where insects and earthworms are more easily found. The dense meadows and forest edges in the subalpine zone are ideal locations for their hunting journey. With their strong claws, badgers dig into the soil to find roots and tubers as a supplementary food source. During the summer, European badgers not only focus on foraging, but also prepare for the breeding season in the following spring. Male and female badgers engage in courtship rituals, forming long-term mating bonds. They live in large family groups with complex social structures, sharing extensive underground burrow systems. A burrow system can have up to 50 entrances, often renovated and refreshed with dry grass and leaves during the summer. These burrows serve not just as shelter, but also as fortresses against predators and harsh weather, helping them survive in the challenging conditions of the mountains. The sunlight also guides the return of the white stork, a migratory bird that comes from Africa to the Swiss Alps to breed during the summer. The flooded fields and wetlands of the subalpine zone become ideal habitats for them. Vast valleys like the anterior Rhine provide fresh water from melting glaciers, creating not only beautiful natural landscapes, but also a rich food supply. White storks build their nests on tall trees or rooftops in the valleys. These large nests, which can weigh up to 440 pounds, are made of twigs, dry leaves, and sometimes even trash. They reuse these nests year after year, with each summer seeing the nests grow larger as the white storks repair and renew them. The penduline tit begins its breeding preparations early in the summer. This species is known for its intricate and sophisticated nest-building behavior. Their nests are woven from spider silk and soft plant materials like willow and poplar. Each nest resembles a warm pouch hanging gently from the branches, swaying softly in the breeze. Building these nests takes about 20 to 30 days, a remarkable feat of persistence and precision during the short summer season. These nests are usually suspended at moderate heights, close to dense bushes, forming a small fortress against predators. Summer is the peak activity period for most animals in the Swiss Alps. The European green lizard is no exception. The terrain and climate of the subalpine zone at this time provide an ideal habitat for this lizard. Sunlit slopes, sparse vegetation, and areas near forests and stream banks are where they frequently hunt and forage. Basking in the sun is a common activity for the green lizard, helping them regulate their body temperature, which in turn provides energy for hunting and reproduction. However, they are also skillful at adjusting their activity times. When midday temperatures rise, the green lizard often rests and only becomes active in the early morning and late afternoon. In contrast to the warm landscape of the subalpine zone, at elevations above 9,800 feet, the glacial zone of the Swiss Alps emerges as a majestic, icy world. Glaciers like Aletsch and Rhone create a dramatic scene with their thick ice and rugged terrain. This is a harsh land, yet it is a place where life persists, blending into a fierce struggle for survival. As summer arrives, the fusion of ice and water brings the glacial zone to life. Meltwater from these massive glaciers flows down, forming refreshing streams that feed rivers like the Rhine and anterior Rhine, nourishing the freshwater ecosystems below. The oxygen-rich glacial water carries life to the valleys, where fish species like barbel and Danube salmon once thrived. The mute swan is an elegant symbol of the Swiss Alps, often seen in the glacial meltwater lakes of the glacial zone. With its graceful long neck, it silently glides across the icy waters, searching for aquatic plants hidden below the surface. Each mute swan consumes about 8 pounds of food daily during the summer. This diet not only helps them maintain energy, but is also crucial for nurturing their young. In shared habitats with species like the mallard duck or kingfisher, swans rarely engage in conflict. However, if their nests are threatened, they will fiercely defend their territory. With their large size and strong instincts, they face little competition in the glacial zone. Even larger predators like the golden eagle struggle to reach their young when the vigilant parent swans stand guard. Amid the peaks and massive glaciers, the rock ptarmigan, also known as ptarmigan, makes the most of the scarce patches of grass and barren rocks to find its food. They must actively store energy for the harsh months ahead. One of the most remarkable traits of the rock ptarmigan is its ability to change its plumage with the seasons, similar to the mountain hare. As the summer sun covers the Swiss Alps, their feathers turn to shades of brown or grey. This perfect transformation allows them to blend seamlessly with the rocks and dry bushes of the glacial zone, while also helping them regulate body temperature in the extreme conditions. As summer days pass, the Swiss Alps embrace the magical moment of transition. The coniferous forests and high-altitude meadows burst into vibrant hues of red, orange, and golden yellow. The landscape transforms dramatically, like a living painting where nature and time converge. The rain begins to fall more frequently, the air grows colder, vegetation slows its growth, gradually retreating into dormancy. Wildlife quickly senses these changes. The entire ecosystem feels the urgency of the approaching season. Autumn in the subalpine zone paints a colorful natural scene. The leaves of deciduous trees turn a brilliant yellow, while the lower vegetation, such as ferns and mosses, dons a muted brown cloak. Daytime temperatures remain pleasant, but as night falls, the chill creeps in, sometimes dropping below freezing. Autumn brings a slow but energetic transformation as both the landscape and its inhabitants prepare for the coming challenges of nature. Autumn is also a critical time for raccoons. Although originally from North America, these animals were initially introduced to Germany for their fur, but have gradually spread to Switzerland. Now, raccoons have adapted well to their new environment, especially around Lake Geneva. In autumn, raccoons focus on accumulating energy by consuming a diverse diet. As omnivores, they hunt small animals, gather berries, nuts, and even catch small fish or shrimp from nearby streams. They have a unique behavior of washing their food with their paws, which helps them handle it more effectively, particularly when sourcing from aquatic environments. Besides foraging, autumn is also the time when raccoons fortify their shelters. They often seek out tree hollows, caves, or abandoned structures to create safe refuges before the cold sets in. According to a 2024 report by the University of Zurich, raccoons have rapidly expanded in the subalpine zone thanks to their high adaptability and the abundance of food available in autumn. However, the Swiss Mammal Research Institute warns that the growing raccoon population may threaten native species due to competition for resources and their superior survival skills in the Swiss Alps. As the cold winds signal the approach of winter, gathering food becomes the top priority for red squirrels. This is when red squirrels spend a great deal of time collecting pine cones, acorns, and seeds from coniferous and deciduous trees, carefully hiding them in the ground or tree hollows. With their exceptional memory, red squirrels can recall exactly where they buried their food, even when the snow covers the ground. However, about 20 to 30% of the seeds they hide remain unfound, leading to germination and contributing to forest regeneration. Autumn is not the breeding season for red squirrels, but it is the time when they accumulate fat reserves to combat the upcoming cold. An adult red squirrel typically weighs between 10 to 14 ounces, and this weight can increase thanks to the plentiful food supply in autumn. Autumn presents both challenges and opportunities as red squirrels prepare thoroughly for the harsh winter in the subalpine zone. Around September, goldfinches often gather in small flocks of 10 to 20 individuals and begin their migration. This is one of the most beautiful small birds in Europe, often depicted in Italian Renaissance paintings of Madonna and Child. The goldfinch populations in the Swiss Alps largely migrate southward. They fly over majestic valleys like Rhone and Lauterbrunnen, heading toward the Mediterranean, where the climate is warmer and food is more plentiful during the winter. During these migrations, they tend to fly at lower altitudes, avoiding the snow-capped peaks of the Alps, while seeking seeds and any remaining food left from the autumn flora. Unlike goldfinches, chaffinches engage in partial migration. Some individuals migrate south, while others, particularly the males, choose to remain in the mountainous regions if the weather conditions are not too severe. The chaffinches that stay behind must accumulate fat reserves to survive the harsh winter. When the snow covers the ground, they rely on acorns and any small fruits left over from the autumn. Occasionally, they consume small insects and larvae to supplement their protein intake. The ability to forage and store food is crucial for chaffinches to maintain energy when nighttime temperatures can drop below 32 degrees Fahrenheit. Higher up in the Alpine zone, the onset of autumn brings a noticeable change. Temperatures drop to between 20 degrees Fahrenheit and 40 degrees Fahrenheit, signaling the arrival of the harsh winter ahead. The forests gradually disappear, giving way to high-altitude meadows and tougher vegetation like Artemisia and Edelweiss. These shrubs slowly wither, leaving a stretch of grey-brown hues, highlighting the peaks that are now lightly dusted with snow. The contrast between the white snow and the clear blue sky creates a scene that is both spectacular and serene. The vast meadows become the final source of food for herbivores before they are forced to migrate to lower regions to avoid the heavy snow. This is the time when the male Alpine ibex, who often live separately throughout the summer, return to the herd to establish their dominance before the mating season. Battles using their horns commence, with powerful headbutts echoing across the cliffs. Their horns, which can grow up to 3 feet long and weigh about 30 pounds, are crucial weapons in these fights. Only the victorious males earn the right to lead the herd and mate with the females at the end of autumn. Autumn is also a time of intense activity for the Alpine marmot as it prepares for the harsh winter in the Alpine zone. They actively forage, consuming large amounts of grass, roots, and seeds in the high-altitude meadows to build up fat reserves, ensuring they have enough energy for the long hibernation period. This is a crucial time when marmots must store enough energy to survive through the winter when food becomes scarce. Another important behavior in autumn is digging and repairing their burrow systems. These underground burrows, which can be as deep as 22 feet, are carefully lined with dry grass and straw to keep the entire colony warm throughout the winter. Alpine marmots live in family groups and share their burrows with other family members, creating a complex system to avoid predators and the biting cold. Despite being busy with their winter preparations, they still face the threat of predation. Predators like the golden eagle and Eurasian lynx are always on the lookout. Marmots remain vigilant, with the adults taking on the role of sentinels, emitting warning calls when they detect danger from a distance, allowing the group to quickly retreat to the safety of their burrows. As winter draws nearer in the high mountains, the Eurasian lynx begins to make larger movements. This is the time when they expand their territory, hunt, and store energy for the coming winter. A Eurasian lynx's territory can extend from 40 to 100 square miles, depending on prey density and the terrain conditions. The Eurasian lynx primarily targets species like roe deer and chamois. During autumn, these prey animals are busy accumulating energy for the winter, making them easier targets due to their reduced alertness. Lynx do not limit themselves to large animals, but also hunt smaller creatures like marmots and hares to ensure a consistent food supply when bigger prey becomes scarce. In the dim light of autumn, the Eurasian lynx excels in hunting. They are most active at dawn and dusk when low light conditions help them remain concealed. The Eurasian lynx is the largest wild cat in Europe, weighing between 40 to 70 pounds and measuring 32 to 51 inches in length. Its powerful body, long legs, and broad paws enable the lynx to move gracefully across steep and snowy mountain terrain. At the glacial zone, temperatures drop significantly, ranging from 28 degrees Fahrenheit to 40 degrees Fahrenheit, marking the end of the warm summer months with the melting ice. Ice and snow gradually return, covering the high peaks and glaciers. The streams fed by the summer meltwater begin to dwindle as snow blankets the ground, creating a landscape of pure white and stillness. This period is challenging for the ecosystem, with decreasing sunlight and rapidly dropping temperatures. Birds and animals adapted to these harsh conditions start preparing for their long migration to seek food and escape the biting cold of the coming winter. Autumn in the glacial zone is a unique time when migrating bird flocks from the north gather here. Their journey from cold regions like Scandinavia and Siberia creates a lively scene amid the snow and valleys. Among them, the waxwing begins its migration from September to November, taking advantage of the abundant food supply before continuing its journey southward. Climate change has accelerated this process. The number of waxwings migrating through the Swiss Alps has increased by 15% over the past 5 years, as the harsh northern winters drive them to seek richer food sources. Waxwings rely on berries from plants like hawthorn, mistletoe, and rowan, which thrive in the glacial zone. particularly around the Rhone Glacier area. Large flocks of waxwings, sometimes numbering in the hundreds, forage for berries along shrubs and wild trees. They blend into the wild landscape, creating a natural dance amid the icy cold, where snow and life intertwine. Autumn is also when the rock ptarmigan begins its transition from its light brown summer plumage to its pure white feathers, to blend into the snowy landscape of the glacial zone. This white coat serves not only as perfect camouflage, but also as insulation to keep them warm during the chilly late autumn days. Rock ptarmigans also tend to create small pathways in the snow, hiding near rocks and large shrubs to avoid predators like the golden eagle and Eurasian lynx. As autumn deepens, rock ptarmigans move to lower areas where snowfall is less frequent and food sources like grasses and shrubs are more accessible. They often shelter in rock crevices and wind-sheltered areas to avoid the biting cold and heavy snowfall. This species reduces its activity, especially at night, to conserve energy for the long winter months ahead. From November to March, the snow-covered peaks stretch out like a frozen carpet. In the higher regions, temperatures can drop as low as -22 degrees Fahrenheit, transforming the Swiss Alps into an icy realm where only the most resilient creatures can survive. In the subalpine zone, temperatures can drop to between -4 degrees Fahrenheit and 28 degrees Fahrenheit, depending on the elevation, covering the ground with a thick layer of snow and ice. The landscape becomes silent. Valleys like Lauterbrunnen lie blanketed in white, with only the faint sound of frozen waterfalls descending from cliffs over 1,640 feet high. Rivers like Fasaska and Viska continue to flow, but their cold waters are hindered by thick layers of ice. The spruce and fir forests are cloaked in white, creating a bleak and desolate scene. Spruce and larch trees slow their growth, shifting into energy conservation mode. Mountain villages become deserted as people move down into the valleys to escape the cold. Life persists in silence, but it constantly struggles to overcome this harsh winter. The subalpine zone, once dense with coniferous forests dominated by spruce and fir, is now blanketed with snow. Vegetation becomes scarce, and streams often freeze over. As temperatures plummet, the red deer's coat thickens to withstand the cold. Their winter fur consists of 2 layers, a thick outer layer that blocks the cold wind, and a soft inner layer that provides insulation. Red deer travel about 3 to 5 miles daily in search of food. They consume not only grass and shoots, but also small shrubs. During winter, red deer tend to form larger herds to enhance their protection against predators. Meanwhile, the red squirrel seems to face fewer challenges thanks to its smart foraging habits from autumn. They rely on the pine nuts, acorns, and seeds they have cleverly stored in tree hollows, under leaf litter, or buried in the ground. More than 6,000 seeds are stored as a temporary food reserve, providing red squirrels with energy throughout the cold winter. In old buildings or abandoned roofs, barn owls can sometimes be found taking shelter. During winter, the snow-covered landscape makes hunting more challenging, but barn owls have adapted well. Their diet mainly consists of small rodents like voles and mice, which are typically nocturnal prey. Barn owls possess incredibly sharp hearing. Their asymmetrical ears allow them to pinpoint the exact location of prey, even when hidden under thick snow. They can detect the sound of a prey from up to 10 feet away, even if it is buried under snow. With their silent flight capability, barn owls glide through the night, using their specially adapted feathers to approach their prey without being detected. In the harsh conditions of winter, the blue tit develops a special survival mechanism. This is the phenomenon of torpor, lowering its body temperature at night to conserve energy. This adaptation allows the blue tit to drop its body temperature to a safe level, helping it withstand the cold while maintaining enough energy to forage during the day. Additionally, blue tits often gather in small groups to forage and stay warm. This cooperation not only helps them share body heat, but also reduces the risk of attacks from predators like hawks. Living in groups reduces the risk of mortality during winter by up to 15%. This strategy is crucial for the survival of this small bird, where agility and adaptability are key to enduring the harsh environment. At altitudes above 6,500 feet, the landscape is enveloped in absolute cold. Temperatures plunge below 14 degrees Fahrenheit, while fierce winds sweep across the peaks, cloaking everything in a blanket of white. The Matterhorn rises majestically, standing as a frozen symbol of this land. Massive amounts of snow cover the ground, reaching depths of up to 13 feet at elevations over 8,000 feet, creating a breathtaking scene. Low-growing vegetation seems to bow before the harshness of nature. Beneath the thick snow, life continues, though it is more challenging than ever. Animals must adapt, relying on stored fat reserves to survive through the long winter months, quietly awaiting the revival of spring. During winter, the Alpine marmot fully relies on hibernation to conserve energy. Their hibernation period begins in late September or early October and lasts until April or May of the following year. During this time, the Alpine marmot halts all activity, lowering its body temperature from a normal 100 degrees Fahrenheit to about 41 degrees Fahrenheit, reducing its metabolic rate to the bare minimum. Meanwhile, the chamois adopt a strategy of migrating to lower altitudes to avoid the thick snow. Their main food sources are dry grass, small shrubs, and moss growing on slopes with little snow. They seek out areas where the wind has blown the snow thin, revealing the dry grass beneath. In response to reduced food availability, chamois decrease their activity to conserve energy. They spend most of their time resting, only moving when absolutely necessary to find food. In recent years, the grey wolf from Italy has begun expanding its territory into the high mountain areas of the Swiss Alps. This species, once extinct in Switzerland, has made a comeback thanks to conservation efforts, re-establishing its role in the high-altitude ecosystem. During winter, when alpine zone temperatures can drop below -4 degrees Fahrenheit, the grey wolf faces severe conditions. Their thick fur consists of two layers, a soft undercoat for warmth and a thick outer coat for protection, allowing them to endure the extreme cold. However, their biggest challenge in winter is not the cold, but the scarcity of prey. To survive, grey wolves must roam larger areas, hunting large herbivores. At this time, grey wolves primarily hunt red deer and chamois. Deep snow slows the movement of these herbivores, making them easier targets for the wolves. Wolves usually hunt in small packs of 4 to 6 individuals. They employ a strategy of stalking, using the snow as cover and then chasing the prey until it is exhausted. Although the grey wolf is a top predator, it still faces many challenges. Their presence not only affects herbivore populations, but also helps restore balance to the ecosystem. According to the Swiss Wolf Group in 2024, the return of the wolves has helped regulate herbivore populations, contributing to the recovery of plant species in the Alpine zone. However, they also pose challenges in livestock protection, as wolf packs sometimes prey on sheep and goats in nearby grazing areas. Starting in autumn, the mountain hare begins molting, completing the process by early winter. Its pristine white coat allows it to blend perfectly into the snow-covered landscape, providing excellent camouflage against predators. This winter coat is also twice as thick as in the summer, offering better insulation and acting as a natural shield against the extreme cold. During winter, when plant life is scarce, the mountain hare changes its diet, focusing on tougher vegetation, bark, and buds of shrubs. It often has to dig through the snow to find roots and bushes, consuming about 1 to 2 pounds of food per day, even if the available food is limited. This snow-digging behavior is essential for finding food, but consumes a lot of energy, making it crucial for them to have accumulated enough fat reserves from autumn to endure the long winter. Amid this harsh environment, the golden eagle demonstrates its strength and remarkable survival skills. As temperatures plummet and snow blankets the mountain peaks, food sources become scarce, forcing this predator to hunt larger prey to meet its nutritional needs. Winter is the season when animals like the mountain hare, Alpine marmot, and even weak or young chamois become prime targets. When deep snow covers the terrain, herbivores become slower and more vulnerable, providing favorable hunting opportunities for the golden eagle. Its wingspan, reaching up to 7.5 feet, allows the eagle to glide effortlessly through the sky, soaring for hours without expending much energy. The golden eagle uses this soaring ability to scan large areas for prey, observing from high above before making a swift and decisive attack. The eagle can spot its prey from a distance of up to 2 miles thanks to its sharp eyesight. Once a target is identified, the eagle dives at an astonishing speed, reaching up to 120 miles per hour. With its powerful and sharp talons, it strikes with precision, swiftly subduing its prey. Although the golden eagle is a top predator, it also adjusts its behavior to conserve energy. During winter, its hunting frequency decreases by about 30% compared to the summer when food is more abundant. This energy-saving strategy is crucial for the eagle's survival during the extremely cold days when constant flight could quickly deplete its valuable energy reserves. Winter in the glacial zone of the Swiss Alps reveals a magnificent and freezing landscape. Icy winds cut through the air, driving temperatures well below -22 degrees Fahrenheit, immersing the region in the harshness of winter. A thick layer of snow, over 3 feet deep, covers everything, like an endless blanket of pure white. Iconic peaks, like the Matterhorn and Dufourspitze, stand tall, rising above the icy sky, creating a powerful and imposing landscape. This glacier, over 14 miles long, slowly moves through the ages, with its pristine, icy surface shimmering under the faint sunlight. The glacial zone in winter is a dramatic scene, where the forces of nature and life blend in a silent, frigid stillness. Large lakes like Lake Geneva and Lake Thun partially freeze, but due to the flow from the glaciers, there are still areas where the water remains unfrozen. These open water spots become vital feeding and shelter sites for the mute swan during the harsh winter. According to the 2023 report by the Swiss Federal Office for the Environment, FOEN, the number of swans in the glacial lakes of the glacial zone has slightly increased compared to the previous year. This indicates the high adaptability of this bird species to the freezing environment. Swans have several physiological traits that help them adapt to the cold. Weighing between 20 to 26 pounds and with a wingspan of up to 8 feet, swans use their large size and thick feathers to keep warm and maintain body heat in extreme conditions. Their waterproof plumage and insulating layer of fat help them retain heat while moving on icy waters. Notably, a circulatory mechanism called countercurrent heat exchange in their legs allows swans to walk on ice without losing too much heat, protecting their vital body parts. Although aquatic plants become scarce, the meltwater lakes in the glacial zone still provide enough nutrients for swans. The migration of small fish into shallow waters has particularly helped this species maintain its energy levels during the harshest moments of winter. As spring reaches the Swiss Alps, the entire mountain range awakens after a long slumber beneath the snow and ice. From March to June, the melting ice from the high peaks begins to flow down into the valleys, carrying with it crystal clear water that sparkles like glass. Temperatures gradually rise, ranging from 35 degrees Fahrenheit to 55 degrees Fahrenheit, creeping through the cold nights, filling the mountains with the breath of new life. The lush green meadows stretch out like velvet ribbons, reaching out to greet the early sun. It is the beginning of a new cycle, as the entire mountain range embraces a surge of vitality after the long, harsh winter. This powerful transformation of nature is more than just the melting of snow. It is the call of life awakening after a long sleep, bringing with it renewal and hope for the entire Alpine ecosystem. Thanks to this, small fish, the primary food source for the great crested grebe, thrive, creating ideal conditions for this water bird to survive and breed. The great crested grebe, one of the most prominent water birds in the area, enters the breeding season with impressive courtship displays. This bird is famous for its unique mating ritual known as dancing on the water. In this display, pairs rise from the water, stretch their necks high, and move in perfect synchronization. These actions not only showcase their bond, but also strengthen the relationship between pairs, ensuring reproductive success. After pairing, the grebes begin building floating nests on the water, using grass, leaves, and other plant materials. Their nests are typically constructed in shallow waters, near the shore, to ensure safety from predators. Each pair lays 3 to 5 eggs, and both the male and female take turns incubating them. Spring in the glacial zone also marks the beginning of the breeding season for the mute swan. Swan pairs begin building their nests near the water's edge, along lakes and streams. Areas with abundant grass and low bushes provide an ideal environment to protect the eggs and chicks from predators. According to BirdLife International in 2023, the population of mute swans in the Swiss Alps is strictly protected, especially around Lake Geneva, which offers an ideal habitat for this species. Although the mortality rate of cygnets is high, conservation efforts and protections have helped the swan population gradually recover in recent years. The mallard duck, a common waterfowl in this area, also begins its breeding season. The males, with their glossy plumage, perform courtship displays to attract females. Once pairs are formed, they seek out lakeshores or wetland areas to build their nests. Mallard duck nests are usually lined with grass and leaves, protecting the eggs from predators like foxes and hawks. Each female typically lays between 8 to 12 eggs, which are incubated for about 28 days. During this period, the mother remains close to the nest to ensure the safety of her clutch. When the eggs hatch, the ducklings quickly learn to swim under the mother's guidance. Mallard ducks are excellent hunters in the water, primarily feeding on aquatic plants, invertebrates, and sometimes small fish. Their strong swimming and diving skills help them hunt effectively from a young age. In the subalpine zone, the natural landscape is even more vibrant. As the snow melts, streams and lakes in the area become crystal clear, creating a new source of life for the vegetation. Famous valleys like Zermatt and Lauterbrunnen undergo a dramatic transformation. Waterfalls like Staubach Falls, over 980 feet tall, cascade down in a white stream, blending with the lush greenery of the landscape. As temperatures in the subalpine zone rise, ranging from 32 degrees Fahrenheit to 50 degrees Fahrenheit, the high-altitude meadows begin to bloom with plants like crocus. This is an ideal time for the red fox to search for food. Red foxes eat not only plants like crocuses, but also prey on small animals such as mice, birds, and insects. Spring is also a crucial breeding season for the red fox. After a gestation period of about 49 to 55 days, the vixen typically gives birth to 4 to 6 pups. The den is carefully constructed and protected, usually located in safe, hard-to-reach areas, such as under rocks or in dense forests. In the first weeks, the mother stays close to the pups, while the male hunts and brings back food. As the pups grow, the mother starts bringing back young birds and small insects to teach them essential hunting skills. With its keen hearing, the red fox can detect the slightest movements of mice beneath the ground. Its hunting skills are particularly remarkable in its signature pouncing behavior, leaping into the air and diving straight down to catch its prey. This method is not only effective for catching mice, but also works well for hunting lizards. In spring, as the vegetation begins to sprout again after winter, roe deer move from higher elevations to the lower areas of the subalpine zone in search of food. Roe deer, once thought to be extinct in Switzerland, have made a comeback thanks to effective conservation efforts. They feed on fresh grass, buds, and leaves. An adult roe deer can weigh between 40 to 66 pounds. Spring is also a critical time for roe deer's breeding season. The females seek quiet, undisturbed areas to give birth. Each female typically gives birth to 1 to 3 fawns in the spring. To protect their young, female roe deer often hide in dense bushes or tall grass to avoid detection. Roe deer are shy animals, most active during dawn and dusk to avoid predators. They must also compete for food with other herbivores like red deer and chamois. However, thanks to their high mobility and adaptability to forested environments, roe deer have maintained an essential role in the Swiss Alps ecosystem. The hoopoe, a rare bird in Switzerland, returns to the subalpine zone in the spring to breed. The Eurasian hoopoe stands out with its colorful plumage and distinctive crown-like crest. Spring marks the beginning of its breeding season, when the green fields and dense forests provide ample opportunities for foraging and finding safe nesting sites. Lake Lugano, with its warm climate and diverse ecosystem, is an ideal breeding site for the hoopoe. They require open areas rich in insects to feed on. Their nests are often built in tree cavities, rock crevices, or even in the cracks of abandoned buildings. The young chicks are cared for by their parents for the first 25 to 30 days until they can forage independently. Higher up in the Alpine zone, the moments of nature's revival after a harsh winter have arrived. Majestic peaks like Sentis, standing over 8,200 feet, tower over the valleys, lakes, and streams below. The warm sunlight begins to shine on the mountain slopes, causing the snow and ice to slowly melt. The Matterhorn, at 14,692 feet, rises against the clear blue sky, symbolizing the strength and resilience of this land. This is the magnificent natural landscape that spring brings, as new life gradually spreads throughout the Alpine zone. In spring, the Alpine ibex enters its breeding season as the weather warms up and the high-altitude meadows begin to flourish. This is an ideal time for the females to give birth, as the resurgence of vegetation provides an abundant food supply for both mother and offspring. The newborn Alpine ibex has remarkable mobility, often being able to climb alongside its mother within just a few hours of birth. This ability helps them evade predators on the steep cliffs where the ibex live. According to a 2024 study by the University of Zurich, the survival rate of the young heavily depends on spring weather conditions. If the snow does not melt in time, or if temperatures remain too cold, the scarcity of food can significantly reduce the chances of survival for the young during their first challenging weeks of life. Spring in the Alpine zone also marks the beginning of the breeding season for chamois. The young of this species are typically born in late spring when the weather has warmed, and the high-altitude meadows are blooming with fresh grass and wildflowers, providing an abundant food source. Female chamois often seek safe places to give birth and raise their young, far from predators like the golden eagle and Eurasian lynx. Less disturbed areas, especially those with dense vegetation, become ideal locations to protect the young from danger. During spring, chamois move to higher elevations, where the snow has melted to forage for fresh grass and wildflowers. They often compete with the Alpine ibex and migrate in groups to find areas rich in food, avoiding conflicts with other species. According to research from the University of Zurich in 2023, the survival rate of young chamois is highly dependent on spring weather. If spring arrives early and the vegetation grows well, the survival rate of the young increases significantly. However, if the snow melts late or unexpected snowstorms occur, the young face difficulties accessing food and evading predators. However, beneath the towering peaks of the Swiss Alps, nature is gradually losing its balance. Human encroachment is altering the landscape, threatening the survival of wildlife in the Swiss Alps as their habitat shrinks and becomes more restricted. As temperatures rise, vegetation struggles to regenerate, food sources become scarce, and winter is no longer a safe refuge. Their struggle for survival is now a relentless race against the changing climate and the pressure of human activities. Climate change, driven strongly by human influence, is severely impacting the ecosystem of the Swiss Alps, turning the majestic landscape into a place facing harsh changes. Glaciers are melting rapidly, carrying away the fragile hopes of many animals struggling to survive. According to the World Glacier Monitoring Service in 2023, glaciers in Switzerland have lost 6% of their ice mass in just 1 year, double the rate of previous years. The rock ptarmigan, which relies on thick snow cover for camouflage, now faces challenges as the snow melts earlier in spring and thins during winter. Without its natural protection, this bird becomes more vulnerable to predators. According to the Swiss Federal Institute for Forest, Snow and Landscape Research, WSL, the rock ptarmigan population has declined by 10% over the past 5 years. Rising temperatures are also forcing species like the Alpine ibex and chamois to move to higher elevations in search of the necessary cold. However, in these areas, food is scarce, and their habitat is continuously shrinking. Scientists from WWF Switzerland warn that if temperatures continue to rise, the ibex population could decrease by up to 20% over the next 50 years. Climate change is leading to more frequent occurrences of extreme weather events like snowstorms, avalanches, and landslides, posing significant threats to both wildlife and humans in the Swiss Alps. Avalanches not only devastate the landscape, but also destroy the burrow systems of the Alpine marmot, making them more vulnerable during the winter. According to a 2023 study by ETH Zurich, many marmots have been trapped and perished due to avalanches. Tourism is an integral part of the Swiss economy, especially in the Swiss Alps, where ski resorts and tourism infrastructure are thriving. However, this expansion is leaving negative impacts on the ecosystem. According to the IUCN in 2023, the construction of cable cars, hotels, and ski resorts has led to a 5% loss of forest area in the subalpine zone and alpine zone over the past decade. This has resulted in habitat loss for species like red deer, chamois, and rock ptarmigan. Moreover, changes in water management and resource extraction in the Swiss Alps have posed significant challenges to species dependent on aquatic habitats. Rivers and streams, such as the Rhine, once provided refuge for many fish species like the barbel and Danube salmon. However, the construction of hydroelectric dams and the redirection of water for agricultural and industrial use have reduced water flow, putting these species at risk of extinction. According to a study by ETH Zurich in 2023, the water flow in the Rhine River has decreased by 15% during summer compared to the average of the past 2 decades. This has made survival conditions for the Danube salmon even harsher, pushing the species closer to extinction in Switzerland. In response to the environmental challenges and human impacts, many conservation programs have been implemented to protect the ecosystem in the Swiss Alps. One notable initiative is the ice stupor, technology that constructs artificial ice towers during the winter to store water for the summer. These ice towers not only help maintain water supplies, but also slow down the melting process. According to ETH Zurich, 2023, these ice towers have reduced the melting rate of major glaciers by 10% compared to areas without protective measures. Geoengineering technology, with white covers placed on glaciers during the summer, also helps reduce the melting rate, protecting the precious ice masses of Morteratsch Glacier. A report from WSL recorded a reduction of up to 50% in ice melt, contributing to the survival of species that depend on meltwater, such as the barbel and Danube salmon. The forest regeneration program in the Swiss Alps has also made significant progress. The Swiss government is committed to restoring 10,000 hectares of native forest by 2025, creating a habitat for bird species like the penduline tit and speckled nutcracker. The area of restored forest increased by 8% in 2023, helping the red squirrel population grow by 15% in the subalpine zone. Ecotourism is also emerging as a sustainable solution. The number of visitors participating in activities such as hiking and mountain climbing increased by 15% in 2023, reducing pressure on sensitive areas. The Alpine marmot, a rodent species that relies on its underground burrow system, has seen a 5% increase in its population, a positive sign for the future. The story of the Eurasian lynx's recovery in the Swiss Alps brings great inspiration in the journey of wildlife conservation. Once hunted to extinction by the late 19th century, this powerful predator had disappeared from Switzerland. However, in 1971, the lynx reintroduction program brought hope by reintroducing lynx from the Carpathian Mountains, Romania, into the forests of the Swiss Alps. With the support of Swiss National Park, WWF and IUCN, 14 lynx were released into the Swiss Alps and Jura Mountains. The recovery story of the Eurasian lynx in the Swiss Alps is a vivid example that, with effort and unity, we can protect these precious animals and preserve this fragile ecosystem. However, conservation efforts cannot be limited to a single species or be the responsibility of just one organization. These are ongoing efforts that require the participation of each individual, family, and the entire community. Every small action makes a big difference. You can support ecotourism and choose the path that has the least impact on nature. In addition, you can get involved in conservation projects, reforestation, and protecting the creatures living in the Alps. Moreover, educating and raising awareness for the younger generation is a way to plant the seeds of hope for the future. Let's spread the conservation message like the flowing meltwater streams, nurturing life for all. Have you ever immersed yourself in the valleys and waterfalls, or gazed at the majestic peaks of the Swiss Alps? If you have, feel free to share your experiences in the comments below. The information and emotions you share can contribute to spreading the meaningful message of conserving nature and wildlife in the Swiss Alps, while also preserving this natural beauty for future generations. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell to join us on more magical adventures where nature's stories are still waiting to be told.